Hi, my name is Sitawa Namwalie, and I'm a poet, playwright, and performing artist based here in Nairobi, Kenya. His writing meant so much to me as a former colonized person, or former colonized child. I went to school at a time, obviously after colonialism, where we were still being heavily indoctrinated by, Western ideas and being trained to be, nice little English girls. And it was disturbing, even from a quite young age. It really disturbed me. We were not allowed to speak our language at school. We had to speak only English. And you were punished quite severely by being shamed if you were caught speaking your language. And yet the French girl, because I went to a school to schools with a lot of white kids, because the schools used to be just for white kids, and then we were now coming in and taking over, decolonizing these spaces. And so there'd be French kids, there'd be German kids who would be there, and nobody would be bothered about what language they were speaking, and in fact they would be praised, whereas we were being punished. And so reading Ngugi was so important, to have an African telling you what these things mean and giving you the bigger overall picture was so critical. Right now, for example, I'm a jury member. I'm going to be very specific, a jury member of the Kenya Theatre Awards. And so for the last year and this year as well, I've been watching a lot of plays. And then in Ngugi's Decolonising the Mind, there is a chapter on African, the meaning of African theatre. And he gives us information about, the roots of post-colonial African theatre. And the British traditions, the resistance, initially the resistance, the control of that whole sector, way into the 1970s by, the settler community in this country, yeah? And makes me understand the incredibly important work that we're doing. So understanding what happened to us, what caused our disease, what therefore are the battles that we need to fight to recover ourselves, I think is really, really important. So that when I'm writing a play, I'm not just writing a play, I'm actually writing something that is feeding this problem that we have. And not that we're going to be always having, boring things and, always, teaching. But there is a place that you're beginning, and there's a reason why you're writing that particular play. I think one of the things we've forgotten is the power of language. I think, today, one of the things that I do is that I play a lot with language. And I personally don't have to understand the language. I play a lot with it because I will, for example, write in English and then get it translated into different languages. And I'm watching the audience. And I've noticed that even people who may not understand that language, Africans who may not understand that language, are reacting and receiving it in a very powerful and different way. One of the poems that I performed at the event is called Names of the Dead. And it was performed in English, Kiswahili, and in Sheng. And this was Ngugi in action. Like, there's the theories about language. But what I wanted the audience to know and to experience is, what does it feel like to hear a poem, the same poem, in these different languages? And the most interesting comments came about the Sheng translation, because it is so powerful, and somebody said the imagery that it conjures are very, very bold images. Somebody said, I feel like I'm in that place. So I think we've forgotten that our languages are bridge to different worlds and different possibilities. and that we mustn't be casual. Because in the beginning, you know, one of the things that made me sad is that we used to teach, particularly rural areas, you know, where there's a specific language spoken. When children went to school, they began the first 3 years were taught in their language. And what happens apparently is it's a cognitive development. They learn much better because the language they're speaking at home and then the language they're speaking at the school is the same. And so there isn't a break, so they don't have to struggle, you know, with the concepts and this new things that they're learning. And then unfortunately, we've stopped that. You know, so now people are having to learn in Kiswahili or in English. And I think that is really unfortunate.